A lesbian couple in Utah is fighting to keep their one-year-old foster child. A judge ruled the child would be better off with heterosexual parents. Carter Evans spoke with the couple.
Becky Pierce and April Hoagland have just 5 days to hold on to the baby girl they've nurtured for months.
Knowing that that's what we've done and it's been taken away from us is heartbreaking.
The couple is legally married in Utah and plan to adopt the child. But Tuesday, according to lawyers present in the courtroom for Utah's Child Welfare Agency, Judge Scott Johansson ordered the couple to give up the baby for just one reason.
He said he's seen studies that say children do worse in homosexual homes than in heterosexual homes.
The judge wouldn't tell you what studies he was referring to?
No, he told the lawyers to do their own research.
Hoagland and Pierce say the judge also ignored pleas from the baby's biological mother to grant them custody. They believe the judge, a bishop in the Mormon church, is imposing his religious beliefs over the law.
This is all about sexual orientation, not what is best for the child.
He has no other grounds but that.
Child and Family Services says the couple passed rigorous background checks, and state law is on their side, according to Director Brent Platt.
Any legally married couple in Utah can become licensed as foster parents. Same-sex couples, heterosexual couples. It's very simple, very straightforward.
There's not much time.
Not much time at all. She's happy, she's bonded, and now you're going to take that all away from her and she has to start over.
The couple is appealing the judge's decision, and Child and Family Services is still trying to determine if it's even legal. We wanted to speak directly with Judge Johansson, but Contessa, the court told us he's not permitted to discuss pending cases.
Criminal defense attorney Diana Aizman is here with us. It's great to see you today. First of all, the Republican governor of Utah, Governor Gary Herbert, told reporters he was puzzled by this ruling. He says, in fact, quote, he may not like the law, but he should follow the law. We don't want activism on the bench in any way, shape, or form. How possible is it that they could go to court and get an injunction against this ruling before the child is taken away?
It is possible. I mean, legal rulings have to be based on some legal grounds, and this judge made his ruling with no legal grounds. And because of that, there is a possibility that a higher court will stop the ruling and leave the child in the hands of this family.
It's interesting. The couple was approved by Utah's Division of Child and Family Services to be foster parents here. They've had this baby girl for 3 months already. Why were they in front of a juvenile court judge in order to process this? I mean, does a juvenile court judge typically handle cases like this?
They make the determination if the child is properly placed. So they take into consideration things like the opinion of DCFS and any other agencies that are tasked with essentially verifying these parents as good parents. And everything checked out. Everyone is in agreement that this couple should remain the guardian of this child. And this judge is planning on ripping the child out of the hands of this family solely based on his own independent beliefs that are not grounded in law.
Diana, this is a problem, Judge. Judge Scott Johansson has, on one end of the dichotomy, unorthodox rulings. For instance, when he was dealing with kids, teenagers who had cut a toddler's hair, he said, okay, guess what we're going to do? We're going to have your mom cut off your ponytail right here in court. But he was actually privately disciplined in 1995 after he had slapped a child in court. His rationale was he got overheated because it was the son of a friend. But still, hitting a child in court where children are supposed to be protected, and yet he's still a juvenile court judge. If you were an attorney who had to argue cases in front of him, what would you have to say about that?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't. There is a process that you can essentially get a preemptory challenge and not have to be in front of this judge specifically for this reason. He's completely unreliable as far as following the law. And as far as I'm concerned, the fact that he slapped a child in open court makes him a criminal as well.
Is there anything that you think that can be done in the next week or so? I mean, again, he said within 7 days he was going to order the state's welfare department to come in and take away this baby. If you were the lawyer representing this couple, what would be your immediate action to prevent that from happening?
There has to be an emergency appeal because this is a situation where you're dealing with a child, and taking that child away from the known parents that this child has is so traumatic. This is the kind of case that needs to shoot to the top of the docket, needs to be decided before you actually make some sort of traumatic decision affecting the life of this child.
And the fact that the biological mother had approved of this adoption, does that carry any weight in a court of law?
It helps, certainly, if there was a serious objection, then that would be taken into consideration. But the fact that she was in agreement with this particular adoption only bolsters the argument that this was an illegal ruling from this judge.
And finally, do you think in the modern day and age we've seen Defense of Marriage Act overturned? Are you surprised by this kind of ruling on the basis of someone being gay or lesbian?
I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed to see a judicial officer, someone who's tasked with enforcing laws and ruling on laws, just violating civil rights of American citizens.
Diana, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course. Thanks for having me.